Hello and welcome to the overview of week 3 in security architecture and design. Jumping right in, the agenda for today, we're going to go over briefly the assignments that you'll be asked to do this week, and then we'll talk a little bit about the reading that you're to do as well. So the assignments. In week 3 discussion, you're asked to evaluate what happens if you were to put your authentication system into the demilitarized zone, the DMZ. And that's the layer that's closest to the internet that typically isn't really protected by a firewall per se. So what do we have to do to protect the authentication system? And does this placement facilitate authentication in some way? And how about if we move the authentication system to a tier behind the DMZ, a more trusted zone? So what are the implications of doing that? And what are the implications of doing so from an authentication performance perspective and for security? So you're to address those prompts using, I believe it's 300 words. Do consult with the rubrics to be on the safe side. 400 words, excuse me. And so once you've done so, make sure that you are creating a new thread as you're being prompted to do so, and follow APA format as much as possible in the constraints of the discussion board forum. As far as the individual assignment for week 3, you're to respond in 600 words or more to the prompts on the screen. So the system architecture is described is the descriptive representation of the system's components, functions, and the communication flows between those components. So you're asked to break down the definitions of each of those terms and to potentially expand upon it so that it makes more sense. So what are components? What are functions that are relevant? And what is a communication flow? And again, you're to do so in roughly 600 words following APA format, not counting references or title page. The rubric for that assignment is on the screen. As always, you want to shoot for the excellent column. That means you're going to make sure that you do things like include an introduction and a conclusion. You will not be able to do very well without those 2 points. In your introduction, make sure that you outline the thesis statement, what's the point of what you're writing, and the subtopics that are going to support that thesis statement so that we can understand it and make sure that you've addressed it. And by doing so, the conclusion will be showing me how that you have addressed that thesis statement that you introduced during the introduction. The reading for this week is chapter 3 in the text. If for some reason you have any questions about the things that we've talked about today, do feel free to reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. I wish you well, stay safe, and I'll talk with you next week.